Whenever you guys go up, you just go ahead and go on that side. You guys are doing great. Have fun with that.
When you go up, where this does the
Everybody get started? Welcome representatives and welcome any parents or other family members that are here. Your representatives have done a wonderful job this week. I'm excited for you to see what they're going to present. A couple housekeeping things before we get started. One, when you're speaking, please stand. That goes for everyone up here. If you are a member who is going to be speaking on behalf of a bill that is not yours, please come to one of these little corner spots and just project. It looks like we're having a couple issues with some mics right now. We're trying to get someone to get those fixed. So if you're up here and your mic is not working, just project along. That should work. The acoustics in this room are pretty great, so it should be okay. Last thing, this is for all of the bill authors. After the second outside member testifies in support of the bill, you'll just need to say, like, raise your hand or stand and say, Madam Speaker, I request that the bill be brought to a vote. That's one of the few things that will not be cued from up here. The rest of it, I will probably be saying, okay, Representative Gitto, or something like that. It is your turn to speak. We'll have another opening statement, something like that. It would be okay, you're right. It would be, I move that the bill go to a vote. So, any questions before we get started? Okay, let's go. The regular session of the assembly will come to order. We're on the first order of business, the call of the roll, and the clerk will call the roll.
Because of the duplicate last names, I'm going to do this by committee. Washington Blue, Representative Baber.
Just say here loudly. Here.
Representative Bachleitner.
Here.
Representative Badger.
Here.
Representative Bierning.
Here.
Representative Bott.
Here.
Representative Burgoyne.
Here.
Representative Downs.
Here.
Representative Fry.
Here.
Representative Karn.
Here.
Representative Brunette.
Here.
Representative Davy.
Here.
Representative Gross.
Here.
Representative Harleman.
Here.
Representative Hayes.
Here.
Representative Hatch.
Here.
Representative Lovelace.
Here.
Representative Shear.
Here.
Representative Warland.
Here.
Representative Bell Richards.
Here.
Representative Charlotte.
Here.
Representative Davy.
Here.
Representative Fry.
Here.
Representative Gross.
Here.
Representative Lewitsy. No, not him, not, I'm sorry. Representative Peterson.
Here.
Representative Roberts.
Here.
And I'm sorry, I should be introducing the committee as I go. From Adams Cole, Representative Baber.
Here.
Representative Bierning.
Here.
Representative Gates.
Here.
Representative Gitto.
Here.
Representative Hanson.
Here.
Representative Cleats.
Here.
Representative Larson. Representative Schwint.
Here.
Representative Tiber.
He's in the bathroom.
Pardon me?
Basically.
County President. From Jefferson Blue, Representative Boomer.
Here.
Representative Kitch.
Here.
Representative Larson. Representative Larson.
Loud and proud, dear. She's here.
Representative Matthews.
Here.
Representative Peterson.
Here.
Representative Sell. Pardon? Representative View.
Here.
From Jefferson Gold, Representative Jensen.
Here.
Representative Kitch.
Here.
Representative Ross.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Here.
Representative Terpstra.
Here.
Representative Thompson.
Here.
Representative Turner.
Here.
Representative White.
Here.
From Madison Blue, Representative Bott.
Here.
Representative Lord.
Here.
Representative Schmudla.
Here.
Representative Swanson.
Here.
Representative Unterschutz.
Here.
Representative Weicher.
Here.
Representative Welch.
Here.
From Madison Gold, Representative Bierschbach.
Here.
Representative De Leon.
Here.
Representative Elmer.
Here.
Representative Morgan.
Here.
Representative Olenicek.
Here.
Representative Schauer.
Here.
Representative Vanden Aven.
Here.
Representative Wojta.
Here. There are 65 members present. A quorum is present. Pastor Tim Orgy will be offering the prayer this morning.
You just want me to stand here?
Go for it.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this opportunity for us to learn about how government works, one of the institutions that you created. And so, Heavenly Father, may this be a good representation of what was learned this week. Thank you for the debate and the minds you've given these young adults. Heavenly Father, we just pray by your grace that today all that is said and done would bring honor and glory to your name. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
All right. The assembly will remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led this morning by Assemblyman Aberdeen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. We are now on the fourth order of business, second reading of assembly bills and resolutions. One final note before we get further into this, there will be no abstaining. You either must vote in favor of a bill or against a bill. Yes, sir. The ones that are up here, representatives, are y'all's working? Does the light turn on when you push the button? Okay, so just the two that are up here. Yep, just make sure that we'll just aim the lights. Thank you, sir. All right, one note for anyone who comes up here, just have the mic tilt away from you when you're not speaking, because he can make them permanently on, you can't turn them off afterwards. Thank you. All right. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 414 relating to cursive writing by Washington Blue reports Senate Bill 414 passed out of committee.
The bill is ordered to a third reading. The author of the bill, Assemblymember Fry, will now provide an opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We would like to speak to you today about Senate Bill 414, cursive writing. In recent years, students' test scores across the nation have been declining, coinciding with the introduction of the Common Core standards and the removal of cursive from our model academic standards. We have proposed a bill which would simply and efficiently help to remedy a piece of this solution. This bill would reintroduce cursive into state's model academic standards, beginning with the contract renewal for charter schools and upon next enrollment period for public and private schools, while incurring no additional costs or burdens on educators, taxpayers, or students. This bill would give students increased access to historical documents and a valuable skill. It would give them access to increased sources of information. It would provide long-lasting brain and cognitive benefits and provide them students with a legal signature. While we recognize that this bill won't solve all of our educational problems, it would be a simple and easy step to help reclaim a piece of our students' education. Vote for Senate Bill 414 and reclaim our students' lives.
Thank you. Assemblymember Badger will now provide another opening statement in support.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Cursive writing has tons of benefits. Cursive writing is taken out of school for technology classes. We don't believe that kids in the grades of K through 5th should need as many computer classes as they have at such a young age. Cursive is a big part of history. We've used decline recently. We believe that bringing back cursive will be part of the solution to stop the decline of the test scores. Thank you.
Assemblymember Downs will now provide another opening statement in support.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today in support of Bill SB 414 by telling you how cursive writing can support your brain and help people with disabilities. Cursive writing is not only good for a child's mind, it is also significant for an adult. Because of these noteworthy perks, schools should make cursive their requirement. It will be beneficial now and in the long run. Cursive writing can reinforce spelling patterns, develop fine motor skills, and is necessary for less formal personal communication. Now, how it can help people with disabilities, specifically dyslexia. Dyslexia is a language-based disability. People who have been diagnosed with this have trouble with reading, learning, spelling, and sometimes speaking. Cursive writing can support people with dyslexia because cursive can improve letter recognition, reduce reversals, and enhance memory. So for these reasons, I strongly believe that this bill, SB 414, should pass. Thank you.
Assemblymember Burgoyne will now provide the last opening statement in support.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Alongside our other points, I would like to emphasize how easy this bill will be to implement. Firstly, this is not adding another class to an elementary student's day. School time is valuable, and thankfully this bill is very reasonable about time. Cursive handwriting, along with printed, will be included in the English Language Arts or ELA class, period. Schools already teach printing in English classes, and some schools teach cursive as well, so this bill is just making it mandatory for the four stated compelling reasons. Additionally, I would like to disarm any fears of lack of funding. As I mentioned earlier, this is an addition to ELA class, so paper and pencils would not be a cost addition, and there would be no need to hire new teachers. Curriculum-wise, many English curricula already incorporate cursive handwriting in it, but even if the school did not want to change curriculum, there are thousands of great, free, online, and printable resources that would be easy to add. This is why we believe this is a reasonable and very beneficial bill. Thank you.
Assemblymember Hayes will now provide the first opening statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hello, I am Brian Hayes. Today I will be speaking on some of the downfalls of Bill 414. I believe Bill SB 414 should fail for several reasons. The Golden Caucus previously mentioned that cursive should be taught in schools so that students can read and work national documents. But even fluent cursive readers and writers cannot read these documents because of the outdated style they are written in. Also, as far as the bill describes, there are no plans in place for funding and teacher training, which are especially important on this topic. Without training, teachers cannot properly teach their students. Another point the opposing caucus brought up is that cursive gives you a legal signature. But a legal signature does not have to be in cursive. It can be print, scribble, or even just an X. This is why we believe cursive bill SB 414 can fail. Thank you.
Assemblymember Gross will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Here are some of the reasons why putting SB 414 in schools wouldn't be a good use of the limited amount of time in school. Elementary school teachers are already expected to teach ELA, science, and social studies. Expecting them to try and teach one more thing seems unfair when teachers already have such a taxing schedule. A professor at the University of Southern California makes a great point of saying, every time we pass new mandates on things teachers need to teach, we never take anything off their plates. Another great statement was made from the president of the Pinellas County Classroom Teachers Association, that the last thing teachers need is another mandate and another test. Why would we add just one more thing for the teachers to teach and the students to learn? Especially, how can you expect kids in elementary school to learn cursive when they are just still being taught the core subjects? With research that has been done, it seems unreasonable to put cursive in schools. SB 414 is just one more thing dividing teachers' attention and taking up valuable classroom learning time. Thank you.
Assemblymember Davey will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hello, I'm Representative Davey. Today I will be hand would have no problem helping the student. How will they even be taught cursive if they learn off of a computer? As paper and ink are replaced by computers and screens, kids are more likely to use a desktop rather than a pencil. Yes, they have electronic pens, but our school is going to provide one for each student. An average number of students in public online school is 524, and there are 15 online schools in Wisconsin. That is an average of $180,000 for electric pens. We believe it needs to be done the same way for each student and school. If we are going to enforce it through the government, then they need to provide the tools and supplies needed to all students. Kids go to on-campus schools, have a teacher to ask questions to, and to be shown how to do it. Online schools have to figure out.
Representative, your time is up. Thank you. Assemblymember Borland will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Representative Borland in opposition to Senate Bill 414. Today, I will be talking on the issue regarding the cost of setting up home school. But we don't have the problem with cursive, the problem is the current lack of funding. Having cursive be mandatory in schools can cost unnecessarily large amounts of money, up to $1.7 million in government money that the government currently has no way to fund. This could possibly lead to higher taxes or government finances taken out of other higher priority subjects, which could cause other large problems. According to the Wisconsin Department of Administration's Division of Executive Budget and Finance, the approximate cost of student materials can be up to $6.5 million a year, an unimaginably high amount to pay. This would be an unnecessary waste of money for the parents that could be spent on something more worthwhile. We feel that this is a very important and relevant concern. Please do not vote for Senate Bill 414. Thank you.
Assemblymember Brunette will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Cursive was invented years ago as a way to protect fragile writing tools. The letters were connected so that a full pen did not have to leave the paper as often, protecting the provincial breaking of the pen and to avoid causing ink loss on the paper. As practical as this was years ago, today we have ballpoint pens and we do not need to take these precautions. Handwriting in general has also largely been replaced by computers, iPads, and other various electronic devices. Keyboards are twice as fast as manual note-taking, and modern smartphones have voice-to-text options, meaning that people are able to take notes without even using their hands. Keyboards are faster than cursive. Using voice text is easier. Both digital options are usually more easy to read than cursive. And with cursive's original purpose no longer practical, it has become clear that cursive writing was removed from schools for a reason, and it does not need to be reinstituted. Vote no on SB 414. Thank you.
Assemblymember Scheer will provide another statement in opposition.
My fellow assemblymen and other distinguished guests, good morning and welcome. I have come before you today to make you aware of the problems of Bill 414 and its questionable requirements. In favor of this bill, Senator Johnson stated in her testimony, the bill also requires school boards, independent charter schools, and private schools participating in the parental choice program to include cursive writing in its respective curriculum for the elementary grades with the goal of all youth being able to write in cursive by the end of 5th grade, end quote. While this is legal, it would essentially bypass the school boards in requiring cursive, essentially stripping the school boards of their choice in what they require. We legislators of Wisconsin can require it, but the important question is not if we have the power to do so, but if we should use this power to do so. It is with this message that I implore that you fellow lawmakers would block this bill's passage so as preserving independent school boards and their ability to choose curricula individually instead of the state stepping in to slap on a one-size-fits-all curriculum statement. Thank you for your time.
Assemblymember Bachleitner will now give a rebuttal speech in support of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I would like to address the funding issue. I would like to point out that 92% of funds for the ELL come from non-federal sources. That means that federal contribution to the elementary and second grade education is about 8%, which includes funds not only from the Department of Education, but also from other federal agencies, such as the Department of Health, Human Services Head Start Program, and the Department of Agriculture School Lunch Program. However, if these costs surpass the current funding, grants will come from the DPI, as current president states. As seen in personal financial literacy innovation grants, these costs will have no direct impact on taxpayers, but these programs will have great benefits for them. Thank you.
Assembly Member Vaught will now give the last rebuttal speech in support of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in support of Bill 414 for a number of reasons, and let me clear up some misconceptions. The opposing caucus brought up the issue of jurisdiction, saying not whether we can, but whether we should. And I'd point out that, as the Wisconsin Association of School Boards pointed out, as the people that hold the strings to the purse of the budget of the state, we can implement certain jurisdictions over certain school boards. So I would say, I would echo what has been said, we can do this and we should do this. Why? For 240 years, cursive writing has been a fundamental point of American education. Why was it removed? Well, it was removed so that they could teach 6-year-olds how to type. We've seen that this is a directly corollary to the decreasing of knowledge retention, to the point about how it's outdated and how about typing faster. If you type, your retention is 50% less. This is the problem that we see in the current system. We need to teach students to think and not just to type. And so I would urge in favor of Bill 414 and ask for your vote. Thank you so much.
Assemblymember Giddo will now give a speech in open debate in opposition of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I come before you today in protest to SB 414. I feel it undermines the school board authority in class requirements and that the final decision should ultimately be up to the local school boards. Parents are ignored as well. They are not allowed to have a say in this matter, but instead must simply comply with the government demands. Where is our freedom? How can we stand idly by while our country takes another step towards complete tyranny? Please vote no to SB 414. Thank you.
Assemblymember Hanson will now give a speech in open debate in support of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, I support SB 414 because it not only reclaims our U.S. heritage, but also our students' brains. We need this bill to engage the critical thinking of our children, not to mention giving them an appreciation for beauty. How can we say no to letting our students have a life? Thank you.
Representative Fry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that Senate Bill 414 be ordered to a vote.
We will now vote on the bill. The clerk will call the roll. Assembly members voting for passage, please rise and raise your hand. Please raise your hand very high. Sometimes we can't see you. Thank you. cards one more time. Make sure that your hands are very high. We're missing a couple of them. Please be seated. As a reminder, not abstain. There are 41 votes in favor and 21 votes in opposition. Senate Bill 414 passes. All right. We move on to the next bill.
Assembly Bill 555, relating to lab-grown food by Washington Gold, reports Assembly Bill 555 passed out of committee.
The bill is ordered to a third reading. The author of the bill, Assemblymember Brunette, will now provide an opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Representative Charlie Burnett. Me and my fellow representatives are here to discuss Assembly Bill number 555. If AB 555 were enacted, it would go against the law to sell any food products containing modified animal cells or flesh, unless clearly labeled as lab-grown meat. Mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and mollusks are defined as animals by the bill. There is currently a national bill called H.R. 7130 S3693, which states that lab-grown meat must be labeled as either cell-cultured or cell-cultivated. This is not specific enough, because the terms cell-cultured and cell-cultivated could be misleading to certain people, because the terms may sound healthier to them, while in reality, the cells in the lab-grown meat have been known to contain heavy metals such as arsenic, nickel, and cadmium. On top of this, the cells duplicated share many traits with cancerous cells and could infect people with various types of cancers. The American people deserve to know what they're eating. Vote yes on AB 555. It is a necessary step towards both customer transparency and prevention of disease. Thank you.
Assemblymember Hatch will now provide another opening statement in support.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Representative Hatch, and I will be speaking to you on the subject of price concerning labels and inspection. Many people will try to persuade you that this bill should not be passed because the distributor, whether a billion-dollar company or a small hometown store, will end up having to pay for the extra ink for the new label and having to pay for inspection. However, this is invalid for two reasons. The extra ink costs roughly less than 1 cent, and let's be honest, half a cent is not going to affect anybody. And, in addition to that, according to the WDAE EBF, the ink price and inspection cost can be covered by the existing budget, which means they would not have to change anything financially, making the switch much easier on companies. Meat grown in labs is selling in stores for around $20 per pound, while natural meat is sitting at a comfortable $5 per pound. This proves that lab-grown meat is 4 times more expensive than normal meat. Why buy a more expensive product that is so much more artificial? Thank you.
Assemblymember Harleman will now provide another opening statement in support.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We found that the Harvard Stem Cell Institute and the hospital management system have found that the lab-grown meat is likely to lead to cancer in the future. The company's Future Meat Technologies describes the use of a special serum made to remove the toxins in them.
and bones. The final stages of growing cultivated meat contain some contamination risks from non-sterile equipment and conditions and improper handling. I believe everyone should know what they're eating and where it comes from. This bill can make that happen. Thank you.
Assemblymember Carr will now provide the first opening statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I and other representatives of Washington Blue come before you in opposition to Senate Bill number 555 for evidence and reasoning as follows. To clarify, we are not denying present risks of health towards consumers of lab-grown meat, rather than the process and accuracy in which these products are labeled and distributed. Data suggests that proposals via the opposing party's bill conflict with federal jurisdiction operating through the FDA, the FSIS, the HHS, and the USDA. In similar interest, resources from federal Congress state that consumers prefer the terms cultured or cultivated over lab-grown for meats that are unnaturally produced. Respectfully, while we agree with the issues targeted by this bill, we believe the terms that set them are both inaccurate and unnecessary due to set standards within the federal level. Thank you.
Assemblymember Zayden Biernik will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in opposition to the Bill 555 for this reason. The term lab-grown is false in meaning. Hear a testimony of the Association for Meat, Poultry, and Seafood Innovation. The products consumers purchase will be produced in factories or breweries, not labs like any large-scale food production system. AMPS Innovation supports the term self-cultured and cultivated, which are the terms enforced by the FDA and USDA. This bill raises more questions than it answers. Thank you.
Assemblyman Bader will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I believe we all definitely agree on the issue that lab-grown meat is very harmful for consumers. It gives them many health risks such as cancer development or food poisoning. It has heavy metals, microplastics, and many other toxic chemicals in it. We do agree that it's good to be labeling lab-grown meat so that people can know what they are eating. But we believe that the Bill 555 lab-grown meat is going about it in the wrong way. Instead of wasting time and money just by making the label, you could potentially be focusing on something much more important, such as banning lab-grown meat instead of, like I said, spending time and money on labeling it. We believe that if you think that lab-grown meat is so bad for you, then instead you should be working on a bill against lab-grown meat. Vote no to lab-grown meat if you believe that it's inconvenient to label it instead of focusing on other more important issues. Thank you all for your time today.
Assemblymember Burgoyne will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Federal regulators, including the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, and Food and Drug Administration, FDA, conduct strict scientific review processes that require clear labeling for cultivated meat products to ensure honesty and consumer transparency. Two of the main areas of regulations are pre-market assessment, led by the FDA, and labeling, led by the USDA. As of March 2025, the current USDA guidance for cultivated meat includes that 1, labels must be clear descriptors and cannot represent cultured meat as conventional. 2, labels must list all ingredients in a product and must detail cultivated ingredients clearly and directly. 3, each label must be approved by the USDA, FIS, or Food Safety and Inspection Services before commercial sale. And 4, labels must clearly state cell cultivated or cell cultured before the identifying meat type, including chicken, beef, pig, goat, poultry, and seafood.
I'm sorry, Representative, your time is up. Assemblymember Bott will now provide another statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in opposition to Bill 555 for a variety of reasons. But first, I'd like to touch on something that's been brought up by actually both caucuses. The fact that cell-cultured or cultivated meat is actually labeled under FDA and USDA regulations. So why do we need this bill to put the epithet of lab grown onto it. Well, I'd like to bring up something that the opposing caucus or the supporting caucus did not bring up. That's who is in support of this bill. There are 5 main supporters of this bill, all of whom are either Wisconsin meat corporations, conventional meat corporations, or Wisconsin meat corporation associations. So obviously it's the current monopoly, the current conventional meat monopoly that wants this bill to be passed. Why? Well, because it's not enough for them just to not be able to sell lab-grown meat in Wisconsin right now. They want to ensure that if it continues in the future, it will be weaponized, it will weaponize the government to mislabel, systematically mislabel their competitors' meat products. It's for this issue that I would urge you to oppose Bill 555. Thank you.
Assembly Member Frye will now provide the last statement in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to continue expressing our concerns with Assembly Bill 555, lab-grown meat. As has been previously stated, the FDA and USDA already regulate cultivated meat. We emphasize there are already laws in place regarding cultivated meat labeling at a nationwide level. We would like to ask why, in the face of well-regulated actions on the part of the federal government, Wisconsin feels the urge to impose such redundant regulations. How will this benefit the people, since consumers already have more abundant, broader, stronger, and higher quality protections under the federal law? The Wisconsin bill is merely echoing what is already in place and well enforced across the entire nation. Assembly Bill 555 doesn't provide any additional standards, as it is in fact more ambiguous than the federal regulations. Unnecessary legislation adds a burden on the Wisconsin people, costs well-earned money, and doesn't provide any benefits. Does Wisconsin need any unneeded legislation? No, we do not. To protect Wisconsin people, preserve the free market, and oppose unnecessary rules, we plead, vote against Assembly Bill 555.
Assembly Member Brunette will now give a rebuttal speech in support of the bill.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Our opponent caucus stated that customers prefer the term cell-cultivated. While this may be true because it is a more pleasant term, it does not convey the true dangers carried in lab-grown meat. Secondly, they try to tell you that the term lab-grown is false because the lab-grown meat is created in a brewery. A lot of chemistry goes into the alcohol making process, so while it may not be a lab, it is still a place of science, and a lab is defined as a place of science. Lastly, they stated that if the meat is so dangerous, why not just ban it altogether? Well, our answer to that is some people feel guilty for eating regular meat for some reason, and they prefer the lab-grown meat. So that is why we don't want to ban it. We want to enforce, we want to expand the consumer's ability to choose what they eat. Thank you.
Assembly Member Davey will now give the last rebuttal speech in support of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Our opposing caucus stated that the reason we already have labels for this meat. The reason we want to replace the already labeled HR 7230153693 is for the full transparency to our customers that they have the freedom of choice. We also want to state that people who don't care about full transparency will still have the choice to pick that or to pick the natural meat. Yes, it is more expensive, and yes, we do support that that is changed, but we want to have full transparency that they have the freedom to pick which one they want. Thank you.
Assembly Member Unterschutz will now give a speech in open debate in opposition of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, I am in opposition of Bill 555 because if you really think about it, half a cent added over billions and billions of meat packages really adds up to be a lot of money that could be used for much more beneficial causes. Plus, they're going against FDA standards that have already been fully set. Plus, finally, the food they would be labeling as lab-grown meat would also include stuff that has only been slightly modified and not just stuff that has been fully grown in a lab like you've seen in Mr. P's video. Thus, I urge that you strongly oppose Bill 555 and vote against it. Thank you, God bless.
Assembly Member Genshin will now give a speech in open debate in support of the bill.
Madam Speaker, I move that AB 555 be ordered to a vote.
We will now vote on the bill. Clerk will call the roll. Assembly members voting for passage, please rise and raise your hand. Please be seated. Assembly members voting no on the bills, please rise and raise your hand. Please be seated.
We have 36 votes in support of the bill, 27 votes no.
Assembly Bill 555 passes. All right, we will go into a break until 10:10. There are snacks in room 415 Northwest. Just make sure that you come back a few minutes early so we can get started on time.
Yeah, I got it completely. I got it cut out so much.
Does that make sense? The order? Yeah, she'll call. But this one she will not call. She will not call that. So you're paying attention to the last thing before that. Yeah. And you'll have that in yours. Also, during this break at some point, if you guys could write down the first names of people, make sure you go in the right order.
The ones that currently called?
Yep. Caleb will go, and then Cooper will go, and then Olivia. It might be smart to write that down. In yours.
What's the order of our speeches? And then she cut like 2 people off because they went over time. What's the time?
Whatever we put in.
Oh, okay. We put.
What was it?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Maybe I changed it. Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
Okay, so mine's
You
only
could get rid of
supposed to
some
be 50
still.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So speed through them probably, and then I don't know how long it's supposed to be. How long do you think you put in? Like a minute something? Does it have to be fast? Don't go away with talk.
I don't know. You could. I don't know. She'll tell you. I would just. How short is it?
It's a page and a bit.
And a bit?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh wait, I put in 2 bits.
So far, I don't know how I feel about some of the stuff.
which is like totally in vogue. It's way cool.
Plus, it also seems like
Take a look. No, you did not. No, you did not. I see you stand up. I gave you a bad look. You stood up for no, you just sit down one by one. Like from the front, like you sit down. From my parents were talking. Bro, you guys are so mean, honestly. Keep on Hey, who's sitting right here? No. Wait, who's sitting here? Yeah, Easton's gold. Excuse me, Tina. Oh. I might do it. So far, I've never picked up. It was just too awesome. I love it. Wait, who's that? Let's go, Matthias. Matthias, are you locking in? Yeah, I'm so locked in. All right, you better come.
You guys are great. But whatever you do, make sure that you rebuttal some of that so that our options become better. Not like I'm going to do what? I want to say
He's a reasonable guy. We'll just show you up there. Yeah, you're right.
Kids and now they're making me not.
Well, basically, it's like myself. And I'll like there are some buttons